Hi, my name is Georgette, and I am going to explain to you my production possibility frontier curve. I have resources. My resources are going to be sushi and cookies. And this graph is going to show the production and quantity that is feasible to do in 1 hour. 1 hour of labor will allow me to do a total of 10 sushis. Or 1 hour labor will allow me to do a total of 25 cookies. In my graph points, I have points A through D, and I'm going to show you that I have a total of 1 hour. If I focus on 1 hour of preparing sushi or producing sushi, I'm going to be able to reach a total of 10 sushis. If I don't focus on sushi, but now I'm going to focus on a production of cookies in 1 hour, I'm going to have a total of 25 cookies. Or also I can divide my time in half, and I can do, as a result, I'm going to have a total of 5 sushis that I can produce in 30 minutes, or I can have a total of 12.5 cookies of production in half an hour. Then I have the option to also do only a quarter of an hour to produce 2.5 sushis, and I can have 3/4 of an hour and produce a total of 18.75 cookies. Also, I can have point E, and then I can invest only 3/4 of an hour, and it will be a result of 8 sushis that I can produce in those 3/4 of an hour. Or I can spend 1/4 of an hour and I can do a total of 6.25 cookies. In my graph, you can see my points plotted in there from A through E, and from A, B, C, and D, and E are very feasible and reachable points. But if I compare them to point Y, they're going to be feasible but inefficient because it's not going to be allowing me to do any production. Also, if you see point Z, it's going to be unfeasible because my resources and time are not going to allow me to reach this much of the production. Now, I'm going to be moving on and compare to a graph with 8 hours of production instead. And I have this data where my production possibility frontier shows that I can invest 8 hours and produce a total of 80 sushis, or I can do 8 hours and produce a total of 200 cookies. My graph points, I have point A through E, and I can do 8 hours to focus on the production of 80 cookies and 0 cookies. 80 sushis and 0 cookies. In point B, I can focus my attention on producing 8 hours, and I can produce 200 cookies. I can also divide, as point C shows, can divide my 8 hours into half. So I'm going to have 4 hours of sushi and 4 hours that I can focus to produce cookies. So if I spend 4 hours to produce sushi, I'm going to be able to produce a total of 40 sushis, or I can also spend 4 hours of my time and produce a total of 100 cookies. Now on point D, I can also spend 2 hours of time that I can invest to produce 20 pieces of sushi, and I can have 6 hours that I can produce 150 cookies. I can also have point E and invest 6 hours and produce a total amount of 60 sushis, and I can invest the rest of the other 2 hours and produce a total of 50 cookies. Now in my PPF graph, it shows again that point A, B, C, D, and E are feasible and are efficient. Now if you see at point Y, it is feasible but inefficient because it's not going to give me any gains or any results to my production. Now point Z is having it is unreachable and it's inefficient because I don't have the resources, neither enough time in order to be able to produce this amount. So this is how I plotted my graph, and this is how I understand the production possibility frontier.